you remember my Hoover Turbopower Plus Autoflex total system U2604 that I have had for at least 15 years, possibly even more? Well, she's been dragged out kicking and screaming from the loft, cleaned up and restored, although not retro-brighted, sadly, don't really care. Let's have a look at how this creaky old girl has come up, see where we have had to put some structural cube on and fit the hose and air freshener, because I haven't done that yet. Let's have a look. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner and vintage Hoover chums. How are you today? Yes, the iconic Hoover Turbopower Plus, a feature in many upper middle class homes throughout the 1990s. Yeah, it has tools on board. Very fancy indeed. This one has fared cosmetically very well. It is mint, really. If it wasn't for the fact that it was so gosh darn faded, it would be lovely. I mean, if I, in there is the colour that this should sadly be. And there are ways around that. Mr. Steve from the Vintage Appliance Emporium has methods of doing it now that don't involve hydrogen peroxide. So never say never, but bless it, this thing has some glue in places, mainly down there, so we'll focus on that in a minute. Although the one thing that did randomly break was here. I don't think this is the holder for where the cable comes out. I don't think it's sat quite right. And look, it's punched a nice crack straight out of there, which is mildly annoying, but it isn't going anywhere. So I guess that's just some more damage that it has. Back here we have our tools. These haven't faded. This is the colour that it should be. Oh dear, but yeah, they're on there like so. Very nice indeed. The Autoflex isn't as sharp as it was. I probably should have tensioned it a little bit more, but equally it pulls the cable in absolutely fine. And what it's probably not going to do now is bring it in with such force that it smashes on here, which will just explode the machine because it's so gosh darn fragile. And I've also managed to tweak it so that the plug now sits fully inside of there. Look, you wouldn't know that it has a cable, so that is lovely indeed. I managed to get the sticker back on there, and inside of here we have ourselves a brand new HEPA flow fitted, because I don't have any proper actual HEPA flow Hoover Turbo Power bags. We can then fit the air freshener, which does still smell, so this could be quite nice, and that sits in there like so, which now means that we can close up our back door, and we may as well look to fit the hose. Actually no, we won't fit the hose yet. We'll look underneath first, because then we won't break this bit here, which has been Q-bonded to the max. It's lost a chunk of plastic. I've managed to fit it in from underneath. There, you can barely see it underneath. That's a sign of a good repair. Look, there you go, just up there. Yeah, sadly it's quite sticky outy, so that's probably most definitely happened in storage, which is a bit of a shame. Down here, both of these, in fact, I think one has split again, but the actual trunnion cover, this bit here, strengthens this whole thing. It's quite key to get it on as soon as you can, because it really does hold this flimsy bit together. And yeah, both of those are cracked. The back of the spine, I suppose, the chassis was cracked. Well, there actually, look, you can see the glue mark there. Yeah. Show me a turbo power that hasn't been glued up, and I will, well, congratulate you and say to be very, 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 very careful of it. I guess it's one that isn't actually used, which is a bit of a shame because they need to be used. I guess that's why people have a scrappy green one for using and then keep these nice ones for show. Underneath, brush fold is still there. Belt is the same belt because it's not that stretched. It's all right. We have our wheels. It's lovely. It's come up really, really well. Like I say, there are no scrape marks really to speak of up here. There's no gouges taken out of here. It's very, very clean indeed. What we now need to do is recline her down and fit the hose. Now the hose does actually have a tiny little bit of damage as well. This is again where it sits, well there, it probably copped it with that, and there's a little bit of a hole and actually a bit of rust coming through, but there's not a great deal I can do about that. I mean, I can probably find a new hose relatively easily because this is the same hose that was used on lots of them. So that goes on there. Then we can lift it up and check that this, there we go, look, goes straight up there. Then we can come down the back and plug it in. And now she is fully assembled. Looking lovely, if not a little bit faded, but you know, I think it will come apart again and do wonders. Let's set up and see how she runs now, because it's got new motor bearings and my last few sets, I've only got a couple left, but this machine was one of them that I saved them for. Brand new agitator bearings too. So, let's see if that's made a difference. Right, we shall pull our Autoflex out. This is a bit better now. It's been taken in and out a few times. Again, it's just very, very twisty, where it's been sat coiled up for, well, literally decades. Bit of a shame. Right, plugged in. Let's have a look. Very nice indeed. The bulb isn't working though. That's a tad annoying. Maybe we'll pop the hood off in a second and have a look. Maybe I've plugged in one of the wires to the wrong part of the coil. But we can put it into tools mode and experience the raw power of a Turbopower with total system tools. We'll start off in low, setting 1, then I'll move on to setting 2. What it is, it's actually got very good tool structure. Don't forget, all that's doing is putting a little plastic, not very well sealed bit of plastic, down through the air path to divert it up there. That's pretty good. Right, I've put a different bulb in it, hoping that it would be a brighter bulb. So either I put a broken bulb in it, or I've messed up fitting it somehow. Let's take the hood off and have a look. Now undoing the hood on one of these isn't too difficult. First, we're actually going to pull the hose back up, ready to put this machine flat without damaging that, and pull off the height control knob. Then we shall spin it over, be careful not to break anything or scratch it up too much. Then we need to undo all 5 screws from underneath here. Then lift off the base plate, which I did fix. I did glue this broken piece back on, so that's nice there. Yeah, here is our belt and our brush roll. They're okay. A little bit of a noise from somewhere, but it's a Turbopower. It'll be fine. And then we need to undo the 2 hood screws. We'll let those fall out down there. They're all the same size screw anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then we can lift our hood off, making sure that the plug is not plugged in. And yeah, here is our nice fully rebuilt Hoover Turbopower motor, which I'm hoping I'm not going to have to move around too much. But I think I am, because all of the flipping wire connections for this go underneath there. And yeah, that is a decent bulb. So, oh, bother. What we're actually going to have to do is to lift the bag door up just a little bit and undo these 3 screws here. And then you can lift the whole assembly off and out the way, and you don't have to try and remove the little tabs. Then you can manhandle the bellows out of the fill tube, pull the 2 wires out, undo the clamp, which has a dodgy screw on it, so I've had to fit a bigger horrible one as a bodge. Yeah, there's where I bodged it. Oh, so soon. And then we can take this out and I can work out just what I've done wrong, because I had to replace one of the connectors here, but everything else seems reasonably okay. Oh no, what I've done is actually put the coil in back to front. This, which runs from the bulb holder, doesn't actually have any power going to it. I can't really show you, but there is nothing going to that spade terminal at all. That should be this side. Then these two, so again, here is my unpopulated spade terminal, which should be doing it. And oh no, I put the cable, literally this whole motor now has to come back apart. My sealant will be dry as well, but hopefully I can just reuse that. Oh no. Pull the carbon, but yeah, I've literally got to flip this coil backwards so that all of the wiring fits. This is why you pay attention, folks. Oh, do I bother? Do we need a headlight? Oh, we do, don't we? I shall come back when this is all back in the machine, flipped around, and hopefully ready to provide us with some blinding light. Has that fixed it? We shall turn the machine on at the handle, move the back door so I don't step on it and cry, and plug it in. Yeah, that runs fine. The bulb's still a little bit dim, but that's the only bulbs I've got. It'll have to do. Right, let's get it back together. And there we go. We put a couple more cracks in it, fixing that flipping motor issue. That was a silly mistake to make. Always check what you're doing. I also fixed the plug-ish and glued that bit together, and it seems to hold. You can't tell from that side, and yeah, it's quite a nice little plug. And yeah, doesn't it work well? I don't quite know why the bulb's so dim and low. I think it's probably just the bulb rather than the machine itself. There you go, look at that. Pulls itself in well enough. Probably should have put a bit more tension on it, but equally, again, I don't want the plug smashing into this. I want it to be guided gently into place, because gently is the word to use when describing how to use this machine now. It still works. It's still a Hoover Turbopower one. It's still a lovely machine indeed. And this one will now smell quite nice because we have put our fragrant paint things into there, and we have our air freshener here, which sort of still mildly smells. And yeah, I can now say that my Turbopower Plus with matching instruction manual is finally refurbished and restored, probably as well as it's ever going to be, and ready to probably go back into storage. Probably not going to offer this one up for 12 vacuums in 12 months because, I wouldn't trust that it will survive, quite honestly. Do you have turbo powers like this in your collection that are just aging sadly faster than you can use them? And if so, how do you get around that? Or am I better off just getting hold of a U2604 and we'll use that until it breaks instead of something slightly rare like this? I don't know. Either way, this one is lovely enough now. It's come up better than I thought. Yes, it's faded, but a lot of that was grime. So she doesn't look too bad. And yeah, it's just an iconic cleaner, especially with the tools on the side. So, do you have a turbo power total system? Do let me know down below. I don't think I prefer these to the non-total system ones. The non-total system ones do clean a bit better on the old car because they're not losing a load of airflow to all of the mediocre tools. So yeah, that's my take on this. It's lovely, but it wouldn't be the turbo power that I reached for anyway. Oh dear. But hey ho. Until the next time, I and some other terrible turbo power, because I've got some more that we need to look at, we'll see you soon. Bye bye.